Hello there, it's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astro-Numerologist. Welcome to Star Codes. This is the podcast where we look at an upcoming celestial events in the astrology and numerology that is going to impact us in the coming week or so. In this case, Venus and Mars, which have been conjunct, merged together for a few weeks now, are coming up into a square with Uranus. And that's super important because Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, the Aquarian age, the 2000-year age that we just entered. So this is a very important event in the stars and numbers. And I wanted to get Merlin's perspective on it just because there is a sense of all the pieces of the puzzle coming together. And he touches on the energy, the intense energy that's really enveloping the world right now and why this event is helping us in so many ways. So he basically helps us see the silver lining to what is going on right now. And it's a really beautiful message that came through. So I'd like to share it with you now. So here is Merlin. Merlin, Venus and Mars, representing the divine feminine and sacred masculine, have been traveling together since mid-February and continue to do so until the third week in March, really the equinox. Can you give us some insight into that conjunction and specifically as it relates to an upcoming double 90-degree square that Venus and Mars are going to be in with Uranus? I'm so happy to be here again, sending you big smiles, lots of celebration as you all are truly feeling like you might be going through the ringer, but actually are shifting rapidly in terms of extricating yourself from the past. And just to begin our connection, I want to say that the celebration is a celebration of liberty, of the whole shift away from the way things have been going for the last hundreds of years to new ways. And it's happening rapidly. And this is why sometimes it gets very intense, as has been the case the last few weeks with a major conflict that seemingly is echoing the past, but truly is extricating the past. So this is what truly will be occurring on so many levels, subterranean levels, all the way to etheric levels, to, of course, your physical 3D level. There is a true championing of a new way of being. And so sometimes in order to really make this shift occur, there has to be a revisiting of what seems to be the same old thing, but is actually a reminder of what is no longer going to be part of your journey. So you have sped up the timeline per se. I want to reassure all of you that in handling the situation by taking the middle path, as always, having compassion and also protecting yourself from the darker underlying forces that create a disturbance, that create a situation where people are very much impacted in a negative way. You want to always send healing, peace, love, joy, compassion, and hold that space and not go into a sense of taking a side against another human being, because after all, in the end, everybody is a human being. So it's not to say that you condone what is going on. It is to say that you send love to the unlovable. You send compassion to the unlovable. And of course, you send healing to those who are impacted. Now, we want you to know that the Venus-Mars conjunction is really helping to create that internal balance, and also just to explain, the 2 years you've been through since 2020 have also helped you to stay very neutral in many ways, because you yourself have been through a tremendous internal recalibration and shift as to what you value in your life. And so you are stronger as a result. You are just naturally able to stay clear of the conflict itself, meaning the internal conflict that then urges you to lash out, to react. And so this has really been helpful, and it is helping to neutralize what could have in other times in history been a much more volatile development. So we applaud you for that. So Venus and Mars coming together, this is a very much an internal marriage. You are being married in your heart. Your two, the left and right side of your heart are marrying each other, fusing together. Your left and right side of your body, your left and right arms, legs, brain hemispheres, eyes, ears, they're all being married. So there's no separation. This is the meaning of the Venus-Mars conjunction. And the square coming up with Uranus, of course, the square in astrology is a activating, tension creating connection in sacred geometry. And the tension is there for really to generate an awakening. So there is no choice but to address whatever tension shows up in your life. Now, this particular tension is very interesting because it involves Taurus, where Uranus is, and Venus rules Taurus. So Venus square Uranus in its own sign indicates a real need to bring Taurian Venusian qualities into your life. So if there isn't enough beauty, if there isn't enough pleasure, love, a sense of abundance, a sense of feeling goodness, enjoyment, where you value all those things, if you feel a lack of those, or just feel like you'd like more, or explore those areas of life which are so beautiful from a new angle, right? Because there's always more beauty. There's always more pleasure and abundance to experience. There's always more love. This is the time to really look at that. Now, in terms of Mars and Venus are both in Aquarius at this point. They were in Capricorn. They have recently moved into Aquarius, which is also significant because Aquarius is the sign that represents the new age that you have recently entered, the 2000-year age. The other thing I want to also bring up before going into Mars is that you are in the 2000s, you are in the 2020s in the 2000s, you are in 2022 in the 2020s in the 2000s, and all of those are twos, and Venus and Mars are two sides of the same coin, the masculine feminine side. So this is a merging again of the left and right, the up and down, the ability to bring two together as one. It is all about intimacy and love. And so Mars is adding tremendous passion and a need to have an outlet for your imagination, right? So if you instinctually feel drawn to do a certain thing, it could be very small, it could be a decision, it could be something you say, a different word you use than the one that you thought you would. Mars is passionately engaged in steering you in that direction of freedom, of exploration, and being fully immersed with great passion in everything you do. As long as you are on that path, which is the present moment path, you will not be caught in the past and worrying about the future or regurgitating a fear that is based on a past experience or past history and making that your go-to reality, as opposed to going to the present moment and being open to the miracles that unfold as a result of being present. So Mars is truly the important activator and very much a sense of aliveness, and there's a joyful sense of abandonment with Mars that really allows you to be free and not caught in a net of the past. And then Venus adds the beauty to the equation so that you actually have an environment that you enjoy being in. This is why adorning yourself and adorning your environment with beautiful scents and things and everything that reminds you of what beauty is to you is so very important. And so these two coming together in Aquarius means there's maybe a new way of doing this. There's maybe a way of seeing people and relationships, because Venus also governs love and intimacy, in a new way that you wouldn't have thought of before, a very freeing way. So there are many beautiful examples here to set. And one other thing to consider is how you go about your ability to just be free to choose a path for yourself. And that means the path of the current moment, because going too far forward with where you want to end up takes away the ability to go with the flow in terms of what is coming to you based on what you are aligned with. So in other words, Mars is going to ask you to align with a certain feeling, a certain way of being, whether that is a feeling of joy, a feeling of satisfaction, of peace, of leadership, of abundance, of compassion, of healing. There can be many, many ways of setting your compass. And Mars is asking that you set your compass, especially when you wake up in the morning, and choose the frequency or frequencies that you want to experience that day, that you are attracted to that day. And then Venus provides the beautiful landscape and environment to allow you to play with that energy and enjoy how it shows up, because it will show up in very surprising ways. But this is Aquarius, after all, where these planets are in, and Aquarius always brings those magical surprises. Another note is Aquarius is made up symbolically, if you look at the symbol, of two waves. And those waves are obviously going up and down and are parallel to each other. They are not touching each other. So this indicates the companionship level of two people coming together, or you and a project, whatever you and the other represents at the time. But that you are not interfering with each other, but allowing each other the freedom to express yourself while being in complete alignment, in harmony with each other. So the waves are moving together without interference. And it's a very beautiful symbol of walking the path with others. And this also means you and the collective, so that you are very much your own sovereign being while also being part of a greater whole, the collective. and not one interfering with the other, but allowing the communication between the two to be free flowing without judgment, and therefore happily moving in the direction of that true freedom, that true joy. So there's a lot of beautiful underlying messages here. And as you move through this very intense period on Earth, note that the seasons are also about to change. Note that we are coming up on the equinox, where you celebrate on Earth the change to spring or autumn, depending on where you reside. This is a very powerful change because the equinox is about equality, just like the Venus-Mars conjunction is about the equal feminine and masculine within you, not having one dominate the other. And it also represents the union of you and another. And like I said, that can be a person, it can be a wonderful project that you're working on. It can also represent you and your intuition, because you and your intuition represents your relationship to the divine, which is really what fuels everything. So there is an equality here that must be felt in all hearts, that everybody's life is equally important and everybody's life is equally to be respected, and that everybody also has their individual path, just like the symbol of the two waves in Aquarius, walking two paths, but joining together in harmony. So this is the message that I'd like to leave you with, because if you align to the goodness of it all and see that there is a reason for it all, and that in this case, the intensity of the experience that you're all feeling is also really helping to purge. Remember that you are still in the sign of Pisces, with the sun moving through that sign, which is the final sign, and it is the sign of endings. And you're about to move into the sign of Aries, no matter where you live on Earth, which represents the beginning of the zodiac. There's a whole new sense of something being released, the past, the Piscean age, and then something new being birthed. And please note that Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is part of this conjunction with Venus. So it's bringing it really all together here, because this square from Venus and Mars does happen shortly after the sun enters Aries and begins spring in the northern hemisphere. This square between Mars and Uranus happens on the 22nd of March, again echoing the number 22 for 2022 and the connection between both sides becoming one. And then the square from Venus to Uranus happens on the 19th of March, a day before the equinox. And so they both are hugging the equinox. Isn't that an amazing symbol? Look at that incredible connection here. Venus comes first, then the equinox, then Mars. And Uranus is the awakener. Uranus, the ruler of the new age, of the Aquarian age. So allow yourself to connect, allow yourself to be free, allow yourself to feel joy and beauty, passion, freedom, and allow yourself to love and be loved. As always, I am so happy to connect with you. Thank you for the opportunity, and sending you so much love. Thank you so much for joining me for this channeling from Merlin on the Venus-Mars conjunction square to Uranus. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you enjoy Merlin's perspective, I think you'll really like his monthly in-depth forecast that I include now as a special bonus in the Premium Wealth Forecast, which is a monthly subscription that you can join and receive music and a PDF, a very detailed PDF on the stars and numbers for every day of the month, and now Merlin as well. So click on the link below if you'd like to hear an excerpt of the Premium Wealth Forecast. You'll hear it for March, and enjoy that. And I really look forward to seeing you in next week's new episode of Star Codes. lots of love.